And joining me now is Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, you bet.
So let's start with QAnon. You saw the president there. We had Mark Meadows earlier today saying, I had to Google it, basically. That seems disingenuous, I think, to a lot of people who have seen this president retweeting followers of QAnon over the course of the past several months and essentially saying, yeah, they like me. I kind of appreciate that. How dangerous is what the president is doing?
Well, I think it's good that he's saying that, he's not paying attention to him. That's a start. But I think he needs to disavow him, because the reality is, if you look at the stuff they're putting on Twitter, and we all know Twitter is not real life, but it's spreading. And this idea that the government isn't controlled by, we the people, it's controlled by this underground conspiracy, all these terrible predictions they've made that have all been false. I think it needs exposed. And I actually ignored this for a while because it wasn't mainstream. But the second it goes mainstream and it's talked about, I think it's imperative on us in the party to include the president, to just come back and say, no, it's ludicrous. And, there's still going to be people that always believe it. I mean, that's how conspiracy theories work. But we need to make it clear that that's just simply not the case.
What do you make of the fact that there are now candidates that are winning elections, or I guess Republican primaries more accurately, including one who's likely to be a member of the House of Representatives next year? And Kevin McCarthy has essentially said, welcome in to the conference. Is that the right approach?
Not really, because in my mind, look, if you get elected, no matter what you believe, your district puts you forward, you have a right to serve. But we don't have to embrace that as a party. And so I think the best thing is, and this is why it's important to speak out about it, is because probably a lot of voters that voted for Ms. Green, for instance, had no idea exactly what QAnon was either. And, I guess she's later disavowed it, as she was also a 9/11 truther and disavowed that later. These are the kinds of things we have to push back on. It's not acceptable in our party. We can have a wide range of opinions, and we do. The Democrats have a wide range of opinions, too. But when it comes to dark, seedy conspiracies that threaten to undermine the legitimacy of government, there is no room for compromise on this. And each party has to call this out in its own party, because they're not going to listen to the other party saying it.
Do you think that the Republican Party, as you once joined it, the party that you ran on when you were first elected to the House, I can already tell from having conversations behind the scenes with, folks like you, other members of the House, other Republicans, that things are starting to splinter as people start to look at President Trump potentially losing in November. And people are staking out different corners of the camps. You have some who are betting, it seems you would be among them based on that tweet, that people are going to want a rational conservative movement. But there are others who, Matt Gaetz is embracing QAnon supporters. And I don't think anyone thinks that Trumpism is simply going to evaporate just because President Trump loses the White House. Which piece of this, which side is going to win the battle for the soul of the party? Or is it possible that it splinters completely? What do you see as the future of the Republican Party in a potential post-Trump world?
Well, I think we're always going to have two parties. It's how the system's set up. It'll always be Republicans and Democrats. And frankly, they'll always end up being whatever, to represent 50%. That's why we've had even elections throughout history. But I think if there is a point, and even if whether Trump loses or whether it's in 5 years, a party always goes through redefining itself after a president, even the Democrats after President Obama. And that's where the fight for ideas happens, right? Fighting for what I believe is rational conservatism and compassionate conservatism, to use an old phrase. Will that win the day? I don't know, but that's my job to fight to resell the ideas that we believe in. Because right now, honestly, both sides are just politicking on anger, and eventually that's going to wear thin on people. And I think they're looking for ideas because they are concerned about their families as well.
Who are you going to vote for in November, Biden or Trump?
I'll vote for President Trump. Look, we all have a choice. It's two presidential candidates. Yeah, I see what's going on. Frankly, the discussions that are happening in the left, things I don't agree with. I see what's happening in some of the cities I'm very concerned about. So you have a binary choice. But it doesn't mean that I have to embrace everything he says. It doesn't mean I have to go along with everything he says. We're in this monolithic moment where people aren't allowed to have different opinions. My consistency is that I am consistent in what I've always believed, and I'm going to continue to do that.
You will vote for President Trump even after his handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Are you confident that he can take us out the other side of that after what you've seen?
No, I just look at what the two different versions are being offered. And there's a lot I disagree with how the president talks, and I'm always very outspoken about that. But like all of us, we have a binary choice. And as a conservative, my party's view in the future of this country aligns more to that. So I'm going to continue to be outspoken when I need to be. But yeah, when you have a binary choice, it's a decision you have to make.
All right, Congressman Adam Kinzinger, thank you for coming on the program. It's nice to see you, sir.
You bet. See you.